Welcome to our first video edition of Womenize Inspiring Stories. Maybe you know it in its written form on our website, but today we have a video special, an interview with Jupiter Hadley. Hi, Jupiter.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Hello, you're the first guest in our premiere.
Yay!
So let me just very quickly introduce you, but you have to correct me if I say anything wrong, okay?
Okay.
So you're a video game journalist for once. You write like for Pocket Gamer or what's the other media? Big Boss Battle. I totally have to look that up. Then you work for Armor Games as a licensing manager, and you also work as a community manager for Toya Play Studio. So that's 3 jobs, at least 3 jobs.
Freelance.
Yeah. So let's talk about Toya first, because it seems to be a very special studio when it comes to safe spaces, right?
Yeah, so Toya is my primary job. So for those of you that know the sphere of Roblox, we'll start there in what Toya is. So Roblox is sort of like a platform where people can develop games, and they're inside a special Roblox engine, and they're showcased on Roblox. It's a very kid-friendly website. Everything goes through rigorous approval processes and has to be kid-friendly and safe. So Toya works on that platform. We create games that are for children, primarily younger women is what we look for and what we look to support. We like to have strong female leads in our games. We like to have all of our main characters, or as many as we can, be role models and female role models, especially in like jobs that are not traditional female jobs. And we also strive to make a safe space in games for young girls, a place where they can hang out in Discord and not feel uncomfortable, a place where they are safe, a place that's children-friendly on the internet, which is sometimes a hard thing to come by. So that's where we work in the game sphere.
Yeah, that sounds totally cool. So, but when it comes to creating safe spaces, what's maybe the most important thing, or maybe the most challenging?
Yeah, so when it comes to creating safe spaces, I feel the most important thing is being approachable, almost, when it comes to creating a community of younger people, having a relationship where they can approach you with even like little things that they might be uncomfortable with that's going on in your community, and times when they need help or support. That can be very meaningful, and that can showcase a community that's beyond just you showing them your games. It shows almost like friendship, but on a different level, because it's not quite a friendship when you run communities. It's more like you're in charge of some things, but having that approachability has really helped.
So, since you're also a veteran video game journalist, and Womenize is also about giving advice to like emerging talents, like people who want to enter the games industry in specific jobs. So what advice can you maybe give on when it comes to like being a games journalist? How did you start your career? What advice would you give?
So I started out in games journalism. That was like my first place in games. I actually was like a YouTuber before that and moved into writing. I always liked writing, so it's got to be something you do enjoy, because games journalism, it's a mixed bag on the internet. There's so many people that want to do it. One of the first things you should do is strive to build a portfolio. If you can get some pieces that are not review related, that are like your opinion or something unique to you or your take on something, and have those key pieces in your portfolio, that'll help you stand out, because there are a lot of reviewers out there, but people are always looking for, like publications are always looking for different angles and different features that you can work in, and that's always a good starting point. The next thing you want to do is find a place that you can host your stuff, that you can get editor feedback. So lots of sites take basically posts, and they'll allow you to put them on their platform. However, having editor feedback, even if it's just sort of for exposure, that knowing how to deal with an editor will really help you when it comes to actually pitching, knowing how to embrace a pitch, knowing how to follow a style guide, and all that's very much needed when it comes to doing journalism.
Yeah, true. I am a video games journalist myself, so like that was how I started, at least. So I totally feel what you're saying. But what topics are most important to you as a journalist? Like, I mean, it's not just writing video game reviews, right? There's so much more to write about. What is like vitally important to yourself?
So when it comes to like the sort of journalism that I do, I spend a lot of time doing lists, which are quite boring to talk about, and do a lot of SEO driven content. In the past, I have written like deeply emotional pieces on my feelings on narration in games. There were games in the past where I had strong opinions about the way that characters were written about and designed, and felt the need to share those. And I've written pieces in the past that are more creative led as well. Taking a story from a game and being able to relate it and develop it into sort of your own personal piece and share it back out is something I really enjoyed doing.
You're also a keen supporter of the indie scene and indie game development. And this is a quote that my editors gave me. You're on a journey to find the best indie game. So what is, in your opinion, a good or maybe even the best indie game?
I think the best indie game is a big definition. So, giving some background to sort of my drive to find the best indie game. When I was a teenager and I found out about indie games, I wanted to make a game. Because who doesn't want to make a game? And it's so easy, right? You just make a game, right? And that's what I thought. So I sat down and tried to make a game, and it turns out I couldn't make a game. It's not that easy. And it wasn't something that I enjoyed doing. But I developed like this big respect for all of these people that could make games, so I wanted to play more of them. And I discovered game jams. If you don't know what game jams are, they're where people come together to make a game, sometimes in just 24 hours, and then they release it to the world. And I was fascinated that people could make anything in 24 hours. And at one point, I wanted to record lots of these games and play them. And I was told that, like, there are rankings at the end of Game Jam, so I could just find the best that way. I could just see what everyone else thought was the best and then play the best there. And I felt like that wasn't how I wanted to do it. And I wanted to find my best game. I wanted to find the game that I think is best, not because all these people voted for it. So I started showcasing loads of indie games, especially Game Jam games. At one point, I was playing 5,000 a year on YouTube, and I was just looking to, like, take a look at everything that was out there. So I feel like when it comes to the best indie game, there's so much like variety in what could be the best, but just something that someone's poured a lot of love into and something that someone's tried really hard on, that's the best to me. It's an experience that a developer has made that they want to share, they've put time and effort into, even if it's not perfect, even if it's not got the best writing or the animations aren't key. It's just something that you can tell a lot of work has been put into and is fun to play.
Yeah, definitely. So, we already have talked about some things that you do, and I feel it's only the tip of the iceberg because you seem to be everywhere, you know, like in German we say dancing on all weddings. But what would you say, what was in your career maybe the biggest achievement or the thing that you're most proud of?
Wow, what is the thing I am most proud of? That's a hard question. I think the thing that kept me in games was when I first came to do my first ever talk. I was like straight out of high school, had been playing games for like 3 years on the internet, and I went to give my first talk, and it was not great. I'd never spoken before. It didn't have any point or meaning to it. It was at a little college university. And at the end, someone had stood up and said, "I don't have a question about your talk, but it was great. But you played my game a couple years ago, my little Game Jam game, and it made me feel like I was a real developer. So I made more games, and now I'm a real game developer. I get paid to be a game developer, and it was because you played my game and said nice things, even though my game wasn't good." And that's something that has been said to me a lot in my career, and it's such an honor to be like the first person to play some of these people's games publicly and the first person to say a nice thing about them and sort of like the reason that people are still making games. And it's really like heartwarming and such a great honor to me.
I think we have to come to an end, but let me just say it's just amazing what you have done so far. I'm pretty thrilled to see what you're going to do next. So I keep an eye on you.
Thank you.
And one thing that you are going to do next is holding a workshop at Womenize, November 24. And it's going to be about mental health while working remotely. So people out there, if you're watching this video on November 24, there are still tickets available. Check out our website, womenize.net. If you see this before November 24, it's even easier. Just get a ticket. And save your spot at Jupiter's workshop or at any other workshop that's going to be held on this day. So, and if you're already there on our website, womenize.net, check out our blog series, because actually what we're doing today as an interview is normally a written interview. So it's a classic article. We have lots of women, like thousands of women who share their inspiring stories on womenize.net. So go on and read. And I see you next time. Bye-bye, and thank you, Jupiter.
And bye, thank you.